A new Washington Post article that came out on Friday has a hint at what issues Republicans are going to be running on in November. None. Interviews with GOP strategists and pollsters regarding their advice for politicians running is to not go into issues. Stay away from them. The consultants are arguing that public anger, if properly stoked, that alone can carry the party over the finish line. In their view, getting bogged down in the issues is a distraction and even a potential liability. In a nutshell, the idea is to have no ideas. It's not surprising, given the general tenor taken by the Republicans to date, but the real question is, will Americans notice? Minority Leader John Boehner revealed even more of that strategy, saying that he would be supportive of a moratorium on all government regulation. Not just oil drilling, not just finance reform, not just health care. No, he wants a moratorium on all of it. What he's essentially saying is he intends to vote against any piece of legislation that involves regulations, regardless of how beneficial it is to the American people. Then, there's the 53-page little missive from the conservative-dominated U.S. Chamber of Commerce that was given to the White House. Explained all the things that they want. Less taxes for business, less taxes for the wealthy, less regulation, the standardize of big business. But here's what I see. While the Republicans want to tell you that they want what's best for the country, they're making it as painfully obvious as they can that their real focus is on what's best for their already fat wallets. Congress critters make $174,000 a year. Median household income in the U.S. as of 2008 was $52,000. They like making more than 3 times the median and the perks that go with it. Oh, and in Boehner's district, the median income is even lower, $43,753. So when he talks about tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, he's not talking about his constituents. He's talking about his buddies on Wall Street. Now, the plan for Republicans is not about progress. It's not about ideas. It's about obstruction. It's about saying no. They don't care about the average American. They care about their wealthy benefactors. The real question is, though, will Americans notice? Look, the Democrats aren't innocent here. Rahm Emanuel, current White House Chief of Staff, had a similar strategy in 2006. In his case, it came down to a simple formula. Spend 80% of your time attacking the other side and 20% talking about the issues. The goal? Keep the other guys on the defensive, and when they're trying to counter, you can drive home your issues. It was an effective strategy. Here's the difference. Emanuel's formula still included talking about issues. Not a whole lot, but it was there. New Republican strategy? Don't talk issues at all. No solutions, no answers, no plans. Just attack, attack, attack. In the Senate, plan's even simpler. Say no. That's it. Again, no plan, no solutions, just say no. And no again. It's a tricky gamble, because it relies on Democrats doing what they traditionally do, and that's stick to their issues. And they do so often to their own detriment. In their desire to make sure people understand the why of what they're doing, they don't connect with the emotional side of the issues. In this election season, emotions are running high, and with good reason. Unemployment's still high. The economy still has a long way to go. Americans have seen Wall Street bailed out, auto manufacturers bailed out, the greatest ecological disaster to hit the United States in history. The list is long. The economy has improved. Jobless rates have fallen. Jobs have been created. Bailout money is being paid back. In addition, finance reform passed, health care legislation passed, and there are signs of improvement. The real question is, will Americans notice? That's really the key to the elections this fall. Will Americans see what's going on in Washington? Or are they going to continue to listen to the rhetoric? Will they ask the questions that need to be asked? Will the issues actually matter to them? Or is the Republican strategy going to work? Now, of course, the issues should matter. Regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on, you should be able to tell where the candidates stand. Do they stand for tax cuts for the wealthy or financial reform? Expanded offshore drilling or a moratorium on new wells? The actual issues are relevant, as long as they have an importance in your life. What is relevant is how the candidates address these issues. From the sound of it, Republicans have no intention of letting you find out before November. So how did we get here? How did we get to where winning an election is more important than doing what's best for the country? How did we get to where a group can essentially hold legislation hostage? A lot of folks would point to the filibuster. Common wisdom is the filibuster was designed into the Senate rules so that the minority party could have some recourse against the majority. Turns out, common wisdom ain't so wise. See, the filibuster was actually created by accident. It was never intended. That was born from advice from Vice President Aaron Burr in 1806. He noted that there were many rules in the Senate that were duplicates, had no useful or practical purpose. He suggested the Senate go through and clean up its rules. The Senate took his advice, and quite inadvertently, the filibuster was born. Now keep in mind, there is no filibuster in the House. That's because of a basic rule referred to as the previous question rule. Basically, at any point, debate on an issue can be closed by someone asking for a vote as to whether the House can move on to the main question, essentially ending the debate. Now, that rule existed in the Senate, but it was deleted during the Burr-inspired cleanup of the rules. It actually took decades for legislators to figure out that they could use this deletion to hold up legislation. Until that time, senators expected debate, and they expected it to end with an outcome. But by this time, there was no good way to end the filibuster. Now, since the Senate makes its own rules, they could have made changes to end the filibuster. But those efforts themselves were filibustered. They can still change it, but it requires a 2/3 majority to pass, which, of course, is unlikely to ever happen. Why? Because the party in the minority is never going to give up the power to delay. It's not in their interest. So what can be done? Can these rules be changed? Sure. But changing them immediately may not be the answer. One idea that's been proposed is that a bipartisan committee be put together to examine and streamline the Senate rules with a specific caveat. The rules will not go into effect for at least 6 years after they're ratified. Why 6 years? Because no party, no matter how confident, can predict who will hold a majority and minority that far out. So you remove the incentive to make rule changes that only benefit one side. If you make a rule that benefits the minority party, and you happen to be in the majority party, that rule isn't going to work too well for you. So by delaying implementation, you encourage a fair, even-handed set of rules. Is this ever going to happen? Probably not with the atmosphere in Washington right now. It's going to take some courageous individuals to push this type of change forward. Individuals who truly want to make the process work more smoothly for the benefit of the country and not their parties. I'm not sure those people are even in office right now. Removing stalling tactics, correcting the accident known as a filibuster, streamlining the legislative process in the Senate, they're all good starts. But none of them make any difference unless the electorate pays attention. When the people who can really affect change, the voters, are more willing to listen to gratuitous sound bites, then we face an uphill climb to change. The concept of civil discourse, of real debate, is fading fast. Instead, the conversation's degraded to name-calling, to slinging half-truths or untruths in many cases. And that's exactly what the Republicans are counting on with their new strategy. Forget progress. Just stand in the way, make the other guys defend everything. Don't present new ideas or try to improve anything, just obstruct. Exaggerate, lie, make up things out of thin air, anything but actually deal with the issues. That's the strategy. It should by all rights, fail. You'd expect it to if people put even a little effort into examining the issues and the positions. If you don't have a position other than no solution, then why on earth should anyone follow you or vote for you? That should be an automatic red flag. But the GOP strategists are counting on a simple fact, that you'll get more riled up, more motivated by catchy phrases or simple slogans. And you'll ignore that fact. You'll get angry enough that you won't ask the next question. What's your solution? That's the question they really don't want to ask because they don't have an answer. So here's the deal. Every time you hear a politician from either side saying a piece of legislation is bad, should be repealed, etc., ask the next question. What's your solution? Look for that answer. Demand it. If they don't have one, you can pretty much bet that the opposition has nothing to do with the legislation and everything to do with power. If they have a good solution, that's awesome. If they don't, danger, Will Robinson. The key has to be that we need to insist that the people we vote into office are working for the betterment of the country. Not special interests, not big business or oil, but all of us. We need to demand that they earn that generous salary they get, and that they do more than just say no. If we consistently do that, we'll get better legislation, the country will move forward. The real question is, will Americans notice? We'll be right back.